Hey YouTube, it's your girl Chic from Chic Say What. I am coming on tonight. I wanted to provide some updates about Megan the Stallion and Tory Lanez this week. Their trial began. If you can recall, last summer, Megan the Stallion accused of Tory Lanez of shooting her in the foot. So it's kind of like you got some who believe her, yes, it happened, Tory's trash, you need to go to jail. But then you have, the other side where people don't necessarily believe that either she was shot or that Tory Lanez is the one who shot her. So I want to just get into all of that tonight, share some updates pertaining to the trial because it's just a lot of like interesting. To me, it's just like all over the place. So I don't really know what to believe. Um, it's I don't know. So I want to get into that tonight with you. Before we get started, if you are on live with me, I do thank you. Welcome. Please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when I go on live because I'm real random over here. So if you can go ahead and do that, you'll be sure to kind of catch me when I do kind of pop up and do what it is that I do. So without further ado, let's get into it. I have some like I said, it's just a lot. You got Tory involved, you got Megan's former best friend involved. So, I mean, I think it's just going to be very interesting. I think this is probably going to be more interesting than the Jussie Smollett trial because, Jussie Smollett trial, I think probably 90% of the people kind of believe that it was just a bogus story that he came up with. But it seemed like with this whole Megan the Stallion situation, it's almost like split in half on, where people stand with it. Uh, but it's just like all over the place. It's a bit much, but we're gonna get into it. So I will start with let me see where we want to start with this. One thing that I found to be okay, so before I even go there, Megan is not feeling she's, let's just say, she recently released that she graduated, earned her degree, from college. Ups to Megan, that's a great accomplishment. But what Megan isn't here for is just all the talk pertaining to this trial. So we'll go ahead. I'll go ahead and share my screen just to touch on that first to let you, so you can see, how Megan feeling about, as she, as the trial go underway, how is she feeling about it. So this is from billboard.com and it reads, Megan Thee Stallion blasts coverage of Tory Lanez shooting trial. Why do I have to relive this? And that kind of comes with the whole territory, I guess, when you're going to trial, you're going to relive it. I mean, because now you got to get on stage, people got to tell their truth. So it's kind of like the way this thing works. If you're saying you're wanting justice, okay, well, justice doesn't come from you just accusing someone of doing something and then now they're put in jail, punished. Like it don't work that way, so you got a whole trial legal system or whatever. So her statement of why do I have to relive this is kind of like, okay, sis, like you just earned a degree from college. So we know you're smart enough to understand how this works and that it doesn't just stop at you just accusing someone and then that's it. They do have the right to defend themselves, and that typically takes place in a trial. So we'll move past that statement. It goes on to say that Megan Thee Stallion has seen some of the headlines about the Tory Lanez trial regarding her shooting, and she's not pleased. Okay. So this is Tory Lanez. It goes on to say Megan Thee Stallion has seen the new headlines about the Tory Lanez trial regarding her alleged shooting last summer, and she's not pleased with the picture that's being painted. The Savage rapper responded to how some outlets have been covering Lanez's preliminary hearing on Tuesday, where Detective Ryan Stogner of Los Angeles Police Department took the stand to testify. During the trial, the prosecution argued that Lane's real name, Daystar Peterson, fired a semi-automatic gun at the fellow rapper's feet in the wee hours of July 12, 2020. With Stogner testifying that the Alone at Prom artist shouted, "Dance B," before firing. End of quote. But the Grammy winner MC took to Twitter on Wednesday, December 15th, to express her annoyance over having to constantly read the news about the shooting that took place over a year ago. Quote, "Don't blogs, journalists have to have accurate, credible sources before going with the story? Or is it just the new, I got paid to post this, or I heard out from my homegirl type policy these days?" She wrote in her first tweet. She continued, quote, "Like I've been shot and the focus of some of these headlines are dismissing that I was attacked with a weapon while I was unarmed and trying to paint it as a cat fight between friends. Why do I have to relive this with everyone on the internet every day and watch y'all gaslight me?" End quote. Previously, Megan had been preoccupied with more joyous events in her life as the Houston rapper headed back to her home state of Texas over the weekend for her graduation from Texas Southern University, where she received a Bachelor's of Science degree in Health Administration. While in Houston, she also received the 18th Congressional District Humanitarian Award. So she did recently, have some wins. But listen, I mean, this whole shooting thing, this is a thing. So we kind of got to pick back up where we left off last summer and address it, because initially, when everything popped off, Megan wasn't talking or saying really what happened. I don't know. She was saying, okay, she had glass. I don't know. But it's like initially her story wasn't out the gate, "I got shot, Tory shot me." It's like she came like after the fact kind of with that part. So, that contributes to some people kind of looking at her side-eyed with the whole story. Um, Looks like Tina Snow tweeted, "Don't blogs, journalists have to have accurate, credible sources before going with the story? Or is it just like a new, I got paid to post this, or I heard out from my homegirl type policy these days?" So I guess that's Megan the Stallion's tweet. She's also Tina Snow. So yeah, she not happy about the light, like I said, it's like you got some people who are team Megan and some people who are team Tory. So this is definitely a trial that unlike that Jesse Smollett trial, I keep going back to that one because that was kind of like our most recent trial that we heard about, like with dealing with industry people. And that was just one to where many probably thought it was probably just a waste of taxpayer money to even be entertaining that, because that story was just all over the place. But with this situation with Megan the Stallion and Tory Lanez, like this is one of these nail biters. I get my popcorn, chill on a Friday night. This is like on some Netflix stuff, because we really can't call it based off of the evidence and what we've seen thus far, which way this can all go. Like, I know I can't call it, and I've listened to some other, vloggers talk, and it's just like it's all these speculations, like it's all over the place, like it's almost like a movie made for TV. Like I said, y'all, this is giving Netflix Friday night, let's get it, watch party type stuff, because we don't know what way it's going to go. So that's how our girl Megan the Stallion is feeling. Now let's get into some information that came out at this preliminary trial held this week. I'm gonna show you this. Let me share my screen with TMZ. TMZ, they be getting all of them. It'd be like don't y'all ever feel like TMZ be like there? Like TMZ was like back in that trunk part, because it was in that SUV getting out. Like TMZ was like, yo, back there in that third row. It's like TMZ is like always there. I don't know what that's about, but listen, when TMZ come out and say, yo, this is what happened, I got the footage, it's seldom that it comes out that like TMZ was on some other stuff and they just missed the mark. Like that's just rare for that to happen. So this is from TMZ.com. Tory Lanez, so it reads, Tory Lanez shouted dance beat at Megan. Cop testifies in court. So let's get into it. Tory Lanez shouted dance beat dance while firing gunshots at the ground near Megan Thee Stallion's feet, subsequently injuring her, at least according to testimony from a detective on the case. LAPD Detective Ryan Stogner took to the stand in the court on Tuesday during a preliminary hearing in Tory's case. The detective says Megan told him Tory was intoxicated during the July 2020 incident. So also another thing I'm hearing is that everybody was kind of intoxicated. I don't know if any of you remember with even like last summer when that all went down, they all had left Kylie Jenner's house. She had a little pool party, little situation. And there had been clips where they were posting on social media, being in the pool. Megan looked kind of annoyed because it looked like, Tory was kind of like flirting with Kylie. It was on some stuff like that. But then whatever, I guess the energy kind of started going left. So they just, hopped in the whip and then left, I guess left her house, and then just it went down, in the SUV. So I'm gonna play this video right here that TMZ has of when they were I guess pulled over, by the police. So let me go ahead and play this for you. Like, now what I would like to know is like, okay, so was there a gunshot that was heard that resulted in the police coming and doing all of that? Um, just let's carry on. So it goes on to say Detective Stoner went on to say that this happened in Hollywood Hills around 4:30 a.m. after a party and a dispute between the artists. He went on to describe that Tory was standing on the step board of their SUV while Megan was outside of it. And as soon as Tory fired the shots, she immediately felt pain to her feet, observed blood, fell to the ground, and then crawled to an adjacent driveway of a residence. He also said under oath that Megan told him Tory apologized and begged her not to tell, allegedly offering her money to keep her mouth shut because he was on probation. Detective Stogan said Megan initially explained her injury by claiming she'd stepped on broken glass. Megan allegedly later admitted she only said it was glass because of the political climate. She was afraid cops might shoot Tory if she said there was a gun in the car. What's more, a recorded phone call was played that Tory made from jail to a woman who was also with Megan when the incident happened. Tory apologizes on the call for something he did because he was too drunk. Tory got pissed in the courtroom, yelling out, quote, "How you gonna tell me what I apologize for?" End of quote, before his attorney told him to calm down. Y'all, like, this is a mess. So this is like, it's, Megan's foot from the gunshot. Yeah, so she's saying, listen, this is the evidence. Yo, this is my foot. He shot me. It didn't look like this before. He need to go to jail. The judge heard enough during the Tuesday hearing to move forward with the trial, which is now set to begin on January 13th. Tory's facing one count of assault with a semi-automatic firearm in a manner that caused great bodily injury and one count of carrying a concealed, unregistered weapon. The detective testified that the detective's testimony confirms something Megan's already said publicly, that in the wake of George Floyd, she feared cops would shoot Tory if she told them a black man had a gun and had shot her. Here's another video we'll show. This is TMZ, fair use. I'm just, showing this to support my commentary. So let's get into this. So I'm confused on how we go from being at a party at Kylie Jenner house to now we on the side of the street in a swimsuit with our hands behind our back, hoping that we survive the moment and make it home. Okay. Like, I don't get it. It's, it's like, okay, do we need to just stay in the house, have our own pool in the backyard, and call it a day? Because everybody clearly can't handle being outside. So there's another piece that I found to be quite interesting pertaining to evidence for this case. So let me go ahead, let's share this. This is the part that I'm kind of, mind boggled on, but I guess amongst other things. But let's get into it. So this is from hotanywhiphot.com. So it says Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez case, attorney claims bullet fragments are missing. How, Sway? How? What? Listen, we already off to a shaky start if we talking about evidence is already missing pertaining to a court case. Like, it ain't been that long ago. Like, this happened July 2020. We're in December 2021. Like, maybe close to a year and a half. Like, how are we already got like missing evidence? So that already lets you know how this is gonna go. So Lane's attorney Sean Hawley alleges that the bullet fragments that were reportedly taken from Megan's ankles cannot be located. The internet was taken over by the Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion case today, and it has elicited passionate responses from the public. It was July 2020 when Megan was reportedly shot in the foot during the altercation with Lanez, and almost immediately the rapper stated on Instagram Live that Lanez was the person responsible. The case has been popularizing hip hop and beyond, and as tweets regarding what's going inside the courtroom made their way to social media, the divide widened. Sean Hawley, Lane's attorney, released a statement about what occurred in court and clarified reports about the independent witness. So let's play this.
Can you say anything for Rolling Stone? How are you feeling about that?
I just want to say that my lawyer's outfit is snazzy. That's all I want to say.
So clearly his energy about this case is not what we saw earlier in this live, how Megan Thee Stallion's energy is with it. Tory is giving me vibes of he's feeling confident that what's the word, vindicated, like it's going to come out, all the evidence going to show that he did not shoot old girl. Now, what I have learned is that he acknowledges that the weapon was indeed his. However, he said he did not shoot her. So yes, I did have a weapon, but I did not shoot her. So that part. So this tweet says Tory Lanez outside the courtroom. He's prepared for that trial. Megan Thee Stallion will get sued for lies she's made. Hashtag alone at prom. So that was on December 14th. According to reports, Megan allegedly got into an argument with another woman prior to the shooting, suggested to be her former best friend, Kelsey Nicole. So that's the part too that was like this other layer that was confusing, because how, okay, you saying you got shot, Tory shot you, but then 5 minutes later, you and your best friend were at it, and then y'all weren't friends no more. Like, how sweat, like I'm just so confused. And then the best friend Kelsey never even came out to support or to back the story that Megan came up with as far as what happened. And like Kelsey kind of was tight-lipped. So that's why I say this is going to be very interesting, because you're going to have, people subpoenaed, having to testify. And it's like, for the first time, we, like somebody like Kelsey, we finna hear her publicly, or I say publicly because, she'll be on trial, but the court documents, it'll be released as far as what her testimony is. But we're going to actually hear her encounter from what I know to be for the very first time. Would she say back what Megan has been saying all along, or would she say will back what Tory has been saying all along? That's the thing. Like, I haven't heard anybody back Megan Thee Stallion's claim. Like, even what there was there, well, you have the driver of the truck, like, okay, you got security. Like, I haven't heard anybody back, yes, she was shot. Like, that it's just very interesting. And then glass cuts, gunshot. To me, I would think there would be a clear difference with what her foot would look like, to where like a doctor would immediately know, okay, this ain't no glass, it's a gunshot. Like, I don't know. It's just the whole situation is just kind of crazy. And it doesn't make a lot of sense, but I think that's what makes it all so interesting, because it's like, we don't know what way it can go. And say if Tory do get off and he's vindicated, he's found innocent, how would that impact Megan Thee Stallion as far as her credibility? Will Tory be trying to file what do you call it, like a civil suit for defamation, which he would definitely be entitled to? Like I said, I don't know what happened. I'm just coming to you, just bringing the information as it's coming across the net, so therefore you all can maybe try to dissect it. If you do have an opinion about what's going on, please drop it in the comments in this live chat, or if you catch the play. But I just want to know, because sis over here is straight confused, and I'm not the only one I know confused. I've listened to other people's platform. A lot of people are confused. A lot of people are confused, but I am hearing a lot of people like, nah, I don't think Megan's telling the truth about being shot. I feel like she was cut with glass, but she just wanted sympathy and just like, okay, I'm just gonna accuse this man of shooting me. If that is the case, that's effed up on so many levels, because you're playing with somebody's life and that part. So I just hope that the truth, good investigation take place with this case and the truth come out. And, you know, if Tory is innocent, the evidence will support that. If Tory is guilty, the evidence, like, I just want the truth to come out at the end of the day, because like I said, we're dealing with people's lives, people's livelihood, and however the outcome turns out, somebody's life is going to be impacted for the negative. So this website also goes on to say, there's a quote: today in court, it was revealed that an independent witness reported to the LAPD that he observed a fight break out between the two women in the car just prior to the shooting. Megan herself corroborated this account, telling officers shortly after the incident that the argument was between her and her other female passenger in the car. The independent witness also told officers that the muzzle flash was closest to the other female, which is corroborated by the gunshot residue found on the other female's hands. It was further established that Megan gave several inconsistent accounts of what happened that night and that she omitted key information to the police. We look forward to the opportunity to cross-examine her at trial about the numerous inconsistencies in her story. So again, if we're talking about blood, gunshot, residue, to me, like, I don't know a lot about residue guns or whatever, but what I do know is when you shoot the gun, okay, the residue is on the hand of the person who pulled the trigger, not somebody just in the room. So from what I'm reading, it's saying like, okay, residue was only found on the best friend, Kelsey Nicole's hand. However, Megan is not accusing Kelsey of shooting her. Did Megan even know who shot her? Let's talk about that part, because from what I've heard, like, everybody was kind of like toasted that night, including Megan. And we all know, if you follow Megan on social media, Megan always talking about drinking. Like, she often, I've seen her like defend herself, like, where people want to call her low key like an alcoholic. Like, she's like, there was this one video I saw where she was trying to get Chloe Bailey, the singer Chloe Bailey, to drink, and Chloe kind of like passed on it, and then Megan kind of like side-eyed her, like, okay, like she kind of felt a way that Chloe declined the offer for the alcoholic beverage. So if this man even got the gun residue on his hand, but your girlfriend, your BFF has it on her hand, make it make sense. Like I say, do you know really what happened? So that right there, as this last sentence goes to say, we look forward to the opportunity to cross-examine her at trial about the numerous inconsistencies in her story. Make it make sense. So it also goes on to say, as the headlines permeated social media, Megan lashed out at those who she believed were minimizing her experience. I've been shot, and the focus of some of these headlines are dismissing that I was attacked with a weapon while I was unarmed and trying to paint it as a catfight between friends. Okay, let's talk about what was the argument about between you and your friend. Like that, to me, what was the fight about? And then this same friend hasn't even been backing your story about being shot. But though this friend is also the one that has the residue on her hands, and also this friend is the one that wasn't charged with anything. Make it make sense. Nothing is adding up right here. So I see why Tory Lanez down there skipped out of the court, because he's seeing like it's not adding up. Like I'm thus far haven't seen anything that's showing me that this man is about to be found guilty. I don't know. We're gonna see how it all kind of unfold, but just this information that we're getting into online, I'm not seeing where okay, he's guilty of anything other than him admitting like that the gun, belonged to him. So, and that fact right there was something that I kind of learned elsewhere from another content creator, that he talked about that the gun did belong to him, but he said he didn't shoot her with it. Another thing that I learned about too is that it said that the gun that was found didn't show any missing bullets in, like it didn't like there was no bullets missing in it. So it's like, okay, was there another gun that was used? I don't know, but we'll see if this article kind of talk about that part as far as pertaining to the gun and the details of the gun. So it says as a headline, okay, so that's that. Megan's mad because she's like, y'all focus on the wrong things. I got shot, but y'all focus on some other stuff about me and Kelsey and what we was fighting about. So TMZ returned with yet another update, this time adding a quote from Holly where the attorney claimed, quote, on cross-examination, Detective Stogner admitted that the bullet fragments allegedly removed from Miss Pete's ankles cannot be located, end quote. This has caused a new wave of speculative reports and conspiracy theories. Meanwhile, Kelsey Nicole has called the allegations against her all cap. Like, who was responsible for keeping up with the evidence pertaining to like the bullet fragments? Like, I wouldn't think that Megan would have left the hospital with them. I would think that if there was a police report filed while she was at the hospital, that just would have left with the police officers. So now it's suddenly missing. Like, who's behind that? Like that's like a strong side eye. Because like I said, this didn't all go down like years ago. Sometimes you'll have situations where it'll be a case and it's like really old, 5 years old, like years old. And so you got this evidence kind of locked away somewhere, or it's supposed to be locked away somewhere. And now when it's finally time to go to trial, you got to kind of go and pull it out. This ain't that situation. This happened less than 2 years ago. This happened in 2020. We are only in 2021 still. Haven't even stepped into 2022, and you already talking about you done lost evidence. So I don't even see, sis, how you supposed to even try to win this case against this man when your little evidence, because mind you, we ain't heard nobody corroborating your story of with you getting shot by this man, but the evidence, dealing from the fragments for the bullet is gone. Like, your little piece that you did have is gone. Like, what we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Where my popcorn at? I can't. So, female rap game tweeted, Megan Thee Stallion ex-best friend Kelsey Nicole said what went down in the courtroom today with Tory Lanez and Megan's case is all lies. Let's see if we can open this and see. I'm trying to see. Okay. Let me see. Can you still see my screen? The Shade Room. Let me see. Okay, so let's see what this says. The Shade Room. Tory's lawyer reportedly stated Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion were in some sort of heated argument in regard to an intimate relationship between them. Tory reportedly told police he was trying to protect his girl. The judge in the case determined there is probable cause to send Tory to trial. So he said he was trying to protect his girl, protect her against what? Kelsey? Kelsey then responds to that, say, this is all cap, shaking my head. Then the great _Robin says that Kelsey Nicole, you must be his girlfriend. Don't be another Carucci when she went to court with Chris Brown as support. And he ended up doing the same to her. So it also goes on to say Tory Lanez defense lawyer Sean Hawley questioned Stogner on dispute that led up to the shooting. She said argument in the car escalated when it was revealed Tory and Megan had been in some type of intimate relationship. So Nancy Dillon goes on to say Holly said the other woman in the car, Megan's former assistant slash friend who had a romantic interest in Tory, became jealous and claimed Megan backdoored her. Nancy Dillon also says Holly suggested Tory later told police, I was just trying to protect my girl. She asked detectives. So who's your girl? So I wonder when he says my girl, who was he claiming Megan? But then remember, the article said that Kelsey had the residue from the gun on her hand. So when he says he's trying to protect his girl, did somehow Kelsey get a hold of his gun, pulled the trigger, and Megan just being delusional, not knowing what happened, and it was actually Kelsey who did it? I don't know, y'all. This is crazy. So let's see what some of these people comments are to the tweet. They said, can she elaborate what part is cap? And then someone says the part that Tory shot her. And then the person, it's my opinion, goes on to say, of course it is. Start Boy says, thank you, Nikki. I love you. Got that big rocket launcher. Yeah, so that looks like that's something unrelated to this case. So yeah, as I say, it's a whole entire mess, but we're here for it. I'm here for it. I'm bringing you the tea so we can, to try to get some type of understanding as to what's going on with this whole debacle, because it's a mess. It's just a bad look, embarrassing look, I'm sure, for like all parties involved. And Kylie just still living her best life when everything popped off following her party. Like, it's a mess. Like I said, some folks can't handle being outside. They just need to stay inside. Tori, Megan, Kelsey, y'all just go on and stay inside. So that's what I have for you now. So it looks like the actual trial is slated to start, I think it was January 13th. So what we were just getting into was like the preliminary trial for Tory. So I guess Megan didn't really have to be a part of that. So when the trial at the top of the year begins, that's when, Megan's going to have to come out from hiding and, get out of her feelings or put her feelings on the stand with her and just speak what she believes to be her truth. And I haven't heard nothing about it. I'm assuming this is not going to be televised. I hadn't heard anything about the case being televised. So I think it would be good if it could be televised, but I know Megan probably wouldn't want to see that happen. But either way, I don't get the sense that it's going to be a long, drawn out trial. I don't know what way it's going to go right now. Thus far, the information I'm hearing, I'm not seeing where Megan got this slam dunk case. I'm not seeing that at all. So I don't know. I good luck to the jury, because like I said, this one is just all over the place. But they're going to have the responsibility of trying to sift through the bull to conclude what really happened, to get down to the truth. And I feel like everybody deserves for the truth to be revealed, because we're dealing with people's lives, and no matter what the outcome is, people's lives are going to be impacted, forever impacted. Like, this is going to be something when you Google and put in that person's name, Wikipedia is going to please believe Wikipedia is going to put it in that in that little bio about you. Like, it's not going anywhere. This is a thing, the whole shooting. Like, this is here, what they say, the internet is forever. So at least if we can get the truth to come out as it talks about the story, it also, ends with the truth of, okay, what happened, or if the person being vindicated and things of that nature. So Again, I ask you please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when I go live. I am just here to bring you the tea out here in these YouTube streets and the Hollywood streets, all of that. I just come and just cover the latest and the greatest news. So yes, thank you for joining. Please comment. Let me know your thoughts because I'd really like to know, like, what do you think? How do you think it's going to go? Are you team Megan? Are you team Kelsey? Team Tory? Do you even care? Like, I think I fall on the side of I'm not team anyone. I just want the truth to come out. So I'm kind of like on that side of, okay, I don't really care. It's just more about like, okay, let's just put this to bed and let the truth come out, whatever it is, because I just believe the truth always deserves to come out. So thank you for joining me tonight on this Friday night, and I will catch you on the next broadcast. Peace.